Hello and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode I will be presenting to you 3 different games, of course in English this time around because I'm alternating the languages, and these games will be Brave Jumper, Toon Cup 2018 and Kingmaker. Yeah, and as you already know, I have a certain setup to get this thing working here, so I get this desktop kind of presentation mode with my smartphone, and for that I'm using, in this case, and in most other cases of course too, the Arc mouse, which is just my mouse input here, and I will be using the Foldable keyboard, which is this one, for keyboard inputs. And in some episodes I'm using the Xbox One as wireless controller too, but in this episode this one will only be watching from a side, because there's no game which is supporting this one in this episode. Yeah, and of course if you want to know a lot more about this whole setup stuff and stuff like that, please have a look at the box there. Till then I want to tell you, of course, that this is the key or the core of this whole concept here, because this is my smartphone, which is Lumia 950 XL from Microsoft, and this one is a Continuum based smartphone with an USB-C cable here, and the USB-C cable will be connected to this display dock at the side here, and the display dock itself will be connected to the TV, for example, and like that I can project more or less this desktop kind of mode from my smartphone, and for example use my mouse or whatever to control this. Yeah, and I think, as I mentioned before, have a look at the corner there to get another video where I'm telling you a little bit more in depth how this is working and what is going on there. And till then I would say let's start with the first game. And the first game will be Brave Jumper. Yeah, and for that I'm going to my all apps list, of course. And I'm just typing in the name of the game here, Brave Jumper. And this is more or less a small little game, but I like it somehow. It's in general quite doable, because many of these jumper games, for example, are close to unfair to play, because you just don't know how to play it well, and you are just very much depending on your luck and stuff. And in this case, this is not the case, because the cool thing about it is really, there's a little bit of advertisement there, but nothing to be worried about. And in this case we are trying to get our hero jumper, more or less, which is this little guy, from platform to platform, and trying to get him where he should go. And I don't think there's an end to this game. I'm not sure about it, but as far as I have seen, there's no end, and you just have to jump and jump and jump around, and for each and every jump you do you get a new score or whatever. I'm not sure if it's really something like this, so a coin or something, or if it's just counting the jumps, probably both. And like that you can, for example, get these little guys here. So we can have a look at this. As you can see, we need 10 of these golden jump parts here, whatever, to get other avatars here, more or less. But you don't have to use that. You can only just use this guy. And I'm not sure if there's a real difference between the jumpers. Maybe the higher jumpers or the more expensive jumpers can, for example, play or jump a little bit further or something. I'm not sure. Farther. But whatever. Yeah, and as you can see, this is the game. You have this quite dark setup somehow, and this is your avatar you are trying to play with, and all you have to do is now jump to different parts here. And the hard thing about it is that all this stuff is moving, or often at least it's moving, and you really have to determine where you can jump to. And for that you are just using the mouse, clicking, and now you can see you get click and hold, of course, and now you can see that you get this little indicator where your jump will be. And this is something I really like about this game, because it's really making it doable. In many other games you are just meant to jump somehow, and hopefully you are going to be where you jump at or something. And in this case, this is not the case. In this case, this is not the case. Funny, but still, in this case, you really know where you are jumping to, and you have a good option or a good chance to win this. Of course, the first time I'm showing you that everything is going wrong here, but doesn't matter. And as you can see, some of the obstacles or the platforms here are moving, and of course, like that, you really have to be lucky a little bit to get the right position there, or you just have to calculate where your avatar will be at a certain point, because everything is moving, and if the platform, for example, is moving away from you, you will drop to death. And in this case, I really had a lot of luck here, I think. And of course, you can, for example, just wait for the platform to stop, because they are all moving around, at least for the first parts here. And like that, you can really just play this game and try to get as far as you can. In this case, I'm not going to jump that far. I could, for example, because it's more or less physically based. Not really, but I think it's a little bit physically based. And as you can see, we have now here a platform that is not moving, so we have a good chance to jump there. And as you can see, there's this little coin we can collect here. And now just try to jump from platform to platform. Got this little coin, so I have one more. And like this, you are playing this game. And the cool thing about it is you really don't have to worry much about being very fast or something like that. You just have to have a good eye for when you will jump and where you will be heading with that. And as you can see, it's quite doable to play this game. At least if you can calculate a little bit in the future, so you just see where you have to jump to and stuff like that. Yeah, and this is more or less what you can do in this game. There's not much to see here, but I really like it because it's, as I said, you can play it, it's fair, and it really is fun to play somehow. Yeah, so let's have a look at the next game. And the next game is something I really like. It's called Toon Cup 2018, and it's more or less for people who after the World Cup now, so the Soccer World Cup, of course, you are just not ready to give up on that, and you want your own team to win or something. Then you can just play this game and try to make it win. And the cool thing about it is you are really playing at this case with different players, a little bit like FIFA or something, but a lot based on Toon. So the cool thing about it is, for example, if you like the Teen Titans or something, you can create your own little team from different Toon characters, like the Teen Titans, and there are a lot of other Toon characters I don't know because I'm too old for that. But in the end, it's really cool stuff in there. And it's all coming from the Cartoon Network, this game. So all the different things that are on the Cartoon Network can be played here, and you are just going to play a soccer ball on a certain field here against some other teams that are created by, I think, Default or something, I'm not sure. There is a little bit of advertisement in this game, but it's really, really bearable, so there's not too much of it, and you can just click on it to get it away. And as you can see, we have, for example, the Teen Titans, we have these Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that on the Cartoon Network, or Cartoon Network, as you can see here. And yeah, now we are going to play a football game, or a soccer game, depending on where you are from. And this is really a fun little thing to do, and it really is fun to play. It would be even cooler if it would have been playable with Xbox One's wireless controller or some kind of gamepad. It isn't, but maybe it's going to be in the future. I'm not sure about that. But now you will have to use your your keyboard in some kind of way. For me it's a foldable keyboard, of course. And now just go to tournament, for example, or something else, leaderboard or something is good to have a look at too. But we want to have a look at the tournament or the practice, whatever you want to play. I would say we are going straight into the tournament here. Now just use your country you want to play with. You can have a look at this. There are a lot of different parts of the world which are covered here, with, for example, Eastern Europe. Of course, I'm from Western Europe, so I'm going to use Germany in this case. And of course, there are a lot of different teams you can choose from. And this is not going to have an effect on the teams you can choose itself, because this is just which country is playing against which country. But there is nothing that is limiting you from, for example, setting up a different Toon character or something in the different parts. Yeah, and now you just have to choose 3 different players here. So the first one is your captain, and you can, for example, just go around. Some are locked, so some have to be activated, but a lot of them are already available. So if I, for example, want to use a Starfire at this point, I will just use this. And now he's asking you for the other players you want to play with, and you can just create your own little game from, or your own little team from really different Toon series, and whatever you want to use here. For example, why not use Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls or something, and probably we want to have someone else here. You can of course use for example one from the same series or something like that, or just use a new one. It really doesn't matter what you use. The only thing is you can see there are different powers, more or less, or different things they can do. For example, very fast or very good. This one, for example, has a high speed, but can't shoot a lot. Yeah, probably or not that good at least. And the aiming is quite good for him. What is behind this is that it's easier to shoot with him. You will see what I'm talking about if you are trying to do a power shoot with one of the players here. And I will, for example, use a Wamba from Magic Worlds. Doesn't even know that series, but whatever. And now we can, for example, just play with this team and go into the tournament. And as you can see, we have a tournament, and the first nation we are going to play against is Australia. And yeah, after a while you will go to the World Cup more or less and play that one, of course, and try to win that. And this is the game and what it's all about. And I really like this. It really is nicely done. All you have to do now is use the arrow keys, for example, and the space to shoot with. And you will find, for example, power-ups on your screen if you play this. So I'm going to use this guy, or her at least. And as you can see, we have power-ups. And now we can, for example, shoot and let it go. And like that we gotta do this kind of power shoot. And as you can see, we need a little bit of time, and there is a certain part when the power shoot is really at the best to play with, or the most powerful stuff you can do then. And of course, if you want, for example, to get the ball back, you can hit the other player. Yeah, now the keeper got it for me. But you can, for example, try to get the ball from the other player by just trying to, I'm not even sure what that is called in English, but just trying to get the ball from him, and like that, just go with that. And of course, you are always playing the player that is closest to the ball. So all the time you get this little indicator which player is at the moment the player of choice here. And now let's try to get one of my Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, and now I got fouled more or less. But doesn't matter. So you can really just shoot this as you want. And there you can see this indicator. And if you are in the blue part and you get that, you can shoot with your most powerful shot there. And that will probably lead to a goal for you. And this is something about what I showed you before. So the skill level how easy it is to shoot with a power shot here. So the blue part or the blue area will be larger or lower or lesser, more or less, depending on what you are doing there. And of course you can see the players are differently fast here. And I will just leave it, and this should be another goal. Yeah, and like this is played, you have a certain time to play this, of course. And it's really fun to play. It's really a quite good football game. Of course, it's not exactly like playing it yourself and stuff like that, but it's really nice and close to it. And as I said before, you can of course get these power-ups here to, for example, get your enemies down or freeze them, and there's other stuff to do here. And I have a shield now, and like this, just hold the button, wait for the blue bar and shoot in it. And as you can see, we are quite easily winning this. And after a while you get these coins, and with the coins you can, for example, unlock other players and stuff like that when you want to play, for example, with Robin from the Team Titans or something like that. And of course you can if you want to, Blossom is quite fast, if you want to, you can of course, for example, just give the ball to another player and stuff like that. You can shoot in between. I'm not doing that much here. In general, you don't have to if you have a quite fast player, but Blossom is really quite fast, so she should be able to intercept you if you are not. Well, yeah, and there is another power-up, of course. Another power-up, for example, like this one was that we are shrinking the players, and if, for example, one of the other players is overrunning us, then we are going to be damaged by that. Of course, only for a certain temporary time, but you really have to think about how to get that. And as you can see, Blossom is that fast. If I tried to shoot then, it wouldn't really work out well. Okay, Powerpuff Girl got killed more or less. Doesn't matter. We will just try to play it again. Yeah, and so if you are a fan of a soccer game and you want to play that, this one is really something you should have a look at. We got this round and won this because we just won it with 5-3 goals here. And as you can see, now you are going to be the winner of that, and the next part we will play is against Vietnam. And so on and so forth, and this is the game. Just have a look at it. It really is fun to play. There are not many options, just I think it's just to mute the game or something. And that's all. You get these coins here to unlock, for example, the other players, as I told you before. And it's really fun to play somehow. It's quite nice and quite close to a simulation of a football game. And it really is fun to play. Have a look at it. Yeah, and now let's have a look at the last game we have for this episode. And this episode's last game is Kingmaker. Kingmaker is one of the Global Mundi or something like that, I'm not sure, games, and I really like it because it's another adventure game more or less, and it's really fun to play because this time around we are trying to so I will just activate this. This time around we are more or less two brothers in not Stone Age, in the Middle Age, Dark Age, whatever. And in this kind of game we are trying to help the king out. And for that I will just go to this play button here. And now we can play the first chapter. The other chapter will be, I think you will have to pay for that, but the first chapter is free, so let's play that. Lang lebe der King, which means long live the king. And if I click on that, we can, for example, choose different characters, more or less, and of course, in general, how difficult the game is, of course, the difficulty level. I will just use the easy level here and play this.
I should thank you, for tomorrow the kingdom will be ours.
Okay, so the first scene is about how we are hanged, more or less. And yeah, what you could see there is that the first scene is the end of the game, more or less. And after that, we are playing the prologue or the prelogue of that. And yeah, more or less, what this is about, I can't show you the first introduction here. I think the introduction is about a king who has a son, for example, and the son tries to marry some girl. The girl isn't from the royalty, and like that, the king is not very amused about that. The son wants to marry the girl anyway, and yeah, the king is trying to prevent that by sending the prince to more or less battle. So he should fight somewhere. And while that is happening, he's trying to abandon the girl from the kingdom he has, and like that they are not allowed to marry, more or less. The problem with that is that the prince is killed while he is battling some enemy, and the princess, or the princess-in-law or something, she has been abandoned, and she gives birth to a child there. And while the birth is happening, she's dying too. And after that, the king is very, very sad about that, because he killed more or less his son and this little girl there. And this game is more or less about the child somehow, because that's the story before that ended, and now we are playing more or less with the child. And I'm not sure what this is all about till now, so you really have to try to get those informations from the game. But what is starting now is that we have two brothers. So this is our brother, and we are the other brother, of course. And we are at a bridge where the bridge cannot be lowered at the moment, and the king sits in, the old king, which is very sad and stuff like that, sits in this wagon there, more or less. So I will just click on yes here for the interactive introduction, more or less. And now just we are talking to our brother, and what we want to do, of course, is we want to cross this bridge and need to go over there. But that's not that easy.
You finally caught up with us. The king is still brooding over the failed hunt, and this hold-up isn't improving his mood.
Why did the caravan stop? Has something happened?
The bridge has been raised. We tried shouting over to the other side, but there was no answer. Something is wrong.
Yeah, and as you hear, something is really wrong here. So
talk to the king, squires.
We need to talk to the king first, because we just want to cross the bridge, of course, and the king is trying to give us
the Alma brothers,
directions now.
sons of my most trusted advisor. Finally someone who can get this caravan moving. I promised the queen I'd arrive before sundown. I mustn't be late.
Don't worry, Your Majesty. We'll handle it.
Okay, so our task is more or less clear. We need to get over the bridge now. So let's see how we can achieve that.
Do you have any ideas, brother?
Let me get my gear and we can look around.
Here, take your sword.
So he's giving us our sword. And of course there is this part more or less which we need later on, because we want to get our bag open here. To do that we have to unlock this with this little icon there. And after that we can now open it. And there are some mini games in this. You don't have to play them, but you can play them. In this case, this mini game is about to set the right colors of these little icons here to the right part there. So the first thing we have to do is, of course, we have to move these around and try to connect the right colors with the right parts here. You can only move on this these lines here, so if there is a connection line between those parts you can move them, otherwise not. And as you can see there's one less, because the one in the middle isn't used in the end, and like that you only can move these icons around in a way that this is happening more or less. Yeah, and to play this now, just try to get the right positions. And like that we would have to get this one over there, this one over there maybe. You can try and error it, or you can just try to think about where to move it. And whatever you want to play here, I think everything is fine more or less about that. And let's see if we can solve this more or less fast at least. And I think we are probably done now. Yeah, as you can see, like this is a mini game which can be solved in this case. Now we can just take the different stuff here from our bag, for example, and go to the next part. Of course there is the typical stuff, like if you don't know what's going on here, you can just get this little notion here, which is helping you. There are different things to collect here, like this collectible, which is appearing in this game, so have a look at that. And of course there is this little indication, so something is a little bit sparkly or something, and like that we can go to that and have a look how we can cross the bridge, for example. And we can't cross the bridge by just walking over it, because it's not available at the moment, of course, and because of that we can just try to get another way out here. And one of the ways is, of course, we can, for example, try to use our rope we have here to go down. So let's do that.
Come, help me turn the boat. It has a hole in it. We have to patch it up.
Yeah, and of course it's not that easy that we just find a boat and can drive over there or something. We have to first off have a look at the different parts here and try to get a couple of puzzles solved. So let's have a look at the different things we can do here. I can, for example, get this part out. We will have to do something with this. Yeah. With this little puzzle here, of course. So this is more or less something to make this sharp again, so put it on there. And we have some kind of a knife now. And here is something different we will need later on. So take a notice in your mind that there is something we will need here. And we can have a look, for example, at this little figure here, because we will need something from there too. If you click on, for example, this part, which should be available later on, you can't do much. But he's asking you what is a king without a crown, and because of that we have this little crown here, put it on this king, and like that we can take this little icon or this little part we have there. And there's a little bit more to find in this game, so let's go over to this blackmail or whatever and have a look at that. Here is, for example, a part where we can put this figure, but I think now one is missing still, and we have to get that one too, before we can open this little box, and there's stuff we can get out there, but we will have to have a look where to find it first. So let's have a look into the door here, if we can open it, and we can't at the moment. Because of that we have to look around for other stuff first, so let's see if we can find something else at this point. I don't think so. So let's go back here and let's have a look at this part again. There is some kind of a metal thing that it will help us later on, but we can't move it out now. So first off we need to do something different here. of course we can have a look at the boat itself, and what you can see is there is something interesting, and of course there is this hole in this boat which we need to get rid of. And to open, for example, the door there, we need some kind of a helper here. And yeah, you may have already noticed it. This is more or less like an X. And to complete this, we need some kind of part of wood to put it in there. And as you can see, there is this little other fella. We need to open this part there, and here this could be used to complete the X, of course. So first off, we can use our knife at this point and just make it accessible so we can put in the X there. Now let's go back, go to this part.
Oh, great job tying down that rope.
Yeah, of course. The problem is that the rope came down now, and if we have a look at that, it got cut. So something is going on upwards, and so we really need to get up there. So let's have a look and try to get first our X out here. For that I will just use this part of wood, put it in, and now we can get the X out. Go back to this part. And let's open up the box by just giving in the other figure there. And like that we can get this little part, which you may have noticed it may open something at this point. And yes, it does. So what we can see now is that we have some kind of lever here, and the lever needs to be put over this hole. Would be cool, and we can open it up to get this out. The problem with the leather is that we can't use it till now because it wouldn't fit, or it wouldn't stay where it needs to stay. So for that we need some kind of glue. And you may have noticed it, of course, I have played this part before. Because of that I can show you a lot of that. In general, you would, for example, need to use a tip more often than I'm doing it here and stuff like that. But it's really a fun game, and I really like it, and I will play this further on. I think I will buy it. And for the first part we need to open this door now. For that we can, for example, use this to get into the part here. And now we are going to play some of this little search the image games, Wimmelbild game is it called in German. I'm not sure what the name in English would be for that. But we can use it, put it on here, and now we can, for example, use the saw to get some of the wood there. And after that we are just having a look at different parts. For example, this is the hammer we are trying to get here from the silhouette. You can see what you are searching for, more or less at least. There is a rope, more or less, and some kind of a fishing bow, for example. And like that we can have a look at this. Now let's have a look into this part. And as you can see, we are able to fish this out now, so use our rope here to get everything out. Should be working too. You can have a look at this, for example. Quite everything is clickable on this game. I really like it, so you're not searching too long for it. And now we can just put this part on there to open this, and we get some kind of iron somehow, for whatever, or steel. And here are some little parts too, which we need to, for example, put the wood, because at this point you can see we are not able to walk up this part here. And because there are just some of the steps here missing, and because of that we need to put these parts in there. And now we can of course use this to fix it at there. And now we are able to climb up. But first off, we will have a look around at this point, for example, to see what's going on here. So here we have something that could be used to, for example, create from some kind of corn some other stuff. So let's have a look at this. Without steel, this is not working because this is a firestone and we need something to use this, but we've already found the steel, so we can just put that on there, and now we have the ability to make fire, for example. And of course this part is something different. It's quite dry wood, more or less, so probably we would like to use it for some kind of fire helper or something. But first off, we need to go up and have a look at this. So first off, we can use this little Toon here, get that, and now we have this little mini game again. So as you can see, there are little small icons on these boxes and on the different parts here, and you really just have to search for the right icons here to create the right parts. This, for example, is this one, and if this is blended out, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And now just search for the right corn parts here, so we can create or source this little icon here. And what you will get from that is the corn we will need later on. Because remember, we are trying to create glue, and this more or less will be some kind of a corn glue. So let's have a look. This part, of course, not sure about this. No, this is nothing we are searching for. Let's see, this part, of course, sunflower isn't there. I think we need some kind of wheat stuff. Let's see where it could be. It's sometimes a little bit hard to find what we are looking for, but I think it's this. Yeah, it's this part. And now we solved this little mini game here and got our wheat out. Okay, so the next part here is, of course, we want to create from this wheat some kind of smaller corn or whatever, and to get that, of course, we are trying to make it smaller. I'm not sure what the right word for that would be in English, so bear with me. But we can, for example, use our tool to get some kind of fire or fire helper here. So use that one. And now we already got a lot of stuff here. So let's have a look at this part. As you can see, here is some kind of a fireplace, and in this fireplace we can of course create some kind of fire. So first off, let's use this to fire this part up, and now we just use our firestone to create some kind of fire here. And like that, we got the fire working. Let's have a look at the instructions at this point, because here we are taught how to create some kind of a glue. And as you can see, we need some kind of this wheat powder. We can use that with some kind of a silicon or something, and like that we could create our own little glue at this point. So first off, put in the powder. Okay, and now we need some kind of other stuff. You can see we have some other silhouettes here. For example, the glue itself, we have this yeah, let's say silicon, whatever, and we have this hot part here, and as you can see, this could be what we are searching for there. Exactly. So go back, and you may already have noticed it. Here we have this other part we are searching for, but the problem is it can only be taken with the hot part. But cool thing about it, we already found that, so let's get this part down there. Now we have more or less everything together. Go back to our glue or fireplace here, put in the silicon, and now we have our glue. So, cool thing, we have it now. We can go back now.
I've made this wooden board for the patch. Did you find anything?
And now our brother helped us a little bit out, so go back into the boat here, And as you can see, we need to get rid of this hole here. To do that, first off, click on this lever there, put on the glue we created now, and like this we can now use this to patch up this little hole there. And like that we are able to drive around with our boat now. Yeah, and as you can see, we have a problem here, because
he was shot in the back, and it seems not long ago.
Yeah, I would say, if you didn't notice it till now, we're in some kind of a trap here. So, first off, just get the keys and try to go over there. We still want to get the bridge down there, so we can go over there again, of course. And now just choose one of the right keys here. You can just try it out. After a while you will see that it's the middle one, and like that we can open this door now, go up.
It looks like an ambush. We must lower the bridge quickly.
And it was an ambush. So let's have a look what we can see here. For example, there was this little icon to collect, of course, again. And now just see what's going on. Yeah, there was a fight here. And we can see there is something going on. There was some kind of a emblem there on the rope we saw there, whatever, or the blanket. And in this case, we just have to see how to open the part. Here's another poor little guy who got killed while fighting for the king somehow. And to go on here, we just need to get this part. We can have a look at that later on. This would be the routes where the people are going, and yeah, someone really had a look at that, I would say. And as you can see, in this case, there's a problem with our chain, but the cool thing is we already found one, so we just put that on there. Now, get the bridge down, and now we are able to walk over there. And yeah, you may have noticed it, or you may already know about it. Something is going on, and the king has been murdered. Which is quite a problem, I would say, if you are the person who saw him last time and you need to, yeah, more or less, you may be the murderer for other people who are watching you at this point. So let's see what's going on here. And it's of course our own clothes, which can be found over the dead body of the king here. Which is a little bit unfortunate. But we weren't there.
Dead? I can't believe it. Who could have done this?
Yeah, and then there you hear it. The king is dead. And the problem about that is...
Someone is trying to frame us.
Somebody is trying to frame us. So, in the end, they are trying to get us to be the guilty people who killed the king.
Well, well, what do we have here? Two king slayers. We've caught you red-handed. Surrender now or die. Randall and I are innocent, and you know it. By drawing your sword, you just admitted to your crimes. Kill them. Once you're done, bring them to the castle. Or what's left of them.
Yeah, and you heard about it. They will now bring us to a castle, or probably we will be able to get out of that situation too. But that was the first chapter, and like that, we are played through the free part here, so the other parts are cost a little bit of money. It's not much, I think 3 euros or something, I'm not sure. Have a look at that. But it really is a fun part to play, and you should have a look at that. Yeah, and so I would say I can close this game now too, and I hope you had a nice little episode here, because the episode is now, yeah, at the end more or less. I hope some of the games were something for you and you really like them, let me know in the comments below if you like the games and what you played here from these games and what you liked the most, more or less. And then I would say thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Have a nice week. We will see us in the next episode in German again, of course. And I hope you have a nice week. Have fun with these games. Please don't miss to subscribe if you are not subscribed till now, so you are not missing the next video, of course. And if this video was you liked it or you really liked it, please give it a thumbs up, of course. And so I would say thank you for listening, thank you for watching. See you next time, and bye bye.